Hello everyone, welcome back to day 11 of Polity Daily Drill. Let's begin our discussion for today. Question 1. With reference to money bill, consider the following statements. All financial bills are money bills, but not all money bills are financial bills. And number 2, joint sitting for passing money bill is presided by the speaker. Which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? Now, statement 1 is wrong. Why? It's exactly opposite. All money bills are financial bills, but not all financial bills are money bills. The Venn diagram would be somewhat like this. This is the financial bills, within which you have certain types of bills called money bills. So all money bills are financial bills, but not all financial bills are money bills. One is wrong. And second one is also wrong. Why? Though joint sittings are presided over by the speaker, however, there is no concept of joint sitting for a money bill. We know very well that in case of a money bill, Raj Sabha has no authority but to pass the bill with a maximum possible delay of 14 days. So anyway, the Raj Sabha cannot create a situation or a deadlock for the money bills, and hence there is no concept of joint sittings, making the second statement also wrong, which means C. Both 1 and 2 being wrong is the right answer. Moving on to question number 2. What is the term for the process used to decide the order in which private members' bills, resolutions, question notices, half-hour discussions, or any other notices submitted simultaneously by multiple members for consideration on the same day will be addressed? So what's the term? Basically, if at one point of time lot of members give their questions, let's assume that if multiple members give their questions to be asked by them in the question hour, how is it decided as to who will get their questions or who will get the opportunity to get their questions asked in the first instance, or who will get their questions asked today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, etc.? This process is decided through a lottery system, draw of lots. So C is the right answer. Other things are pretty self-explanatory, like what is point of order? Point of order basically means a rule used during meetings or discussions, the parliamentary discussions, to question whether the current proceedings are following the established rules or guidelines or not. It's like calling attention to a rule book during a game to make sure everyone is playing fairly. And then guillotine. What is guillotine? When the debate is cut short and the entire matter is put to vote, we call it guillotine. So here the answer is draw of lots or the lottery system, C. Now the third question. Which of the following are sources for the right to be free from adverse effects of climate change? Article 14, 19, 21, 24, 31. So recently, when I say recently, the 8th of April 2024, in the M.K. Ranjit Singh case, Supreme Court gave its judgment stating that the Articles 14 and 21 are the sources for the right to be free from adverse effects of climate change. See, the understanding of the right to equality as per 14 and life as per 21 should be considered in light of the court's rulings, the state's national and international commitments, and the scientific agreement on climate change and its negative impacts. This consideration reveals a right to protection from the harmful effects of climate change. And it's very crucial to recognize that in enforcing this right, courts need to be mindful of other rights belonging to communities which are impacted, including the right to avoid displacement and such related rights. See, the underlying idea is very simple. If climate change and environmental degradation lead to acute food and water shortages in a particular area, always remember the poorer communities, they are the ones who will suffer more than the richer ones. The right to equality would be undoubtedly be impacted in each of these instances. And these observations are largely a part of the same decision where a three-judge bench which constituted some expert committee to examine the scope, the feasibility and the extent of installing overhead and underground power lines in areas considered to be priority for conservation of the great Indian bustard. The issue stems from, the deaths of these bustards due to collision with overhead transmission wires installed at solar panel projects. So that's where the story stems from. And finally, we have under Articles 14 and 21 the source of the right to be free from adverse effects of climate change. Right answer here is A, 1 and 3. So that's it. 2, 4 and 5 being incorrect. Moving on to the fourth question. How many of the following statements accurately reflect the theoretical and conceptual framework of the judiciary's role in a democratic setup as envisioned by the Indian Constitution? First one, the separation of powers doctrine forbids any retired member of the judiciary from being a member of either the legislature or the executive to ensure judicial independence. Now see, the separation of powers doctrine does forbid people who are judges to become MPs or MLAs or hold other political posts, but while they are in the office, once you have retired, the only limitation imposed on these judges is that they are not allowed to practice in the courts. That's it. And we have seen plenty of cases where judges have post-retirement taken up jobs like being an MP in the Rajya Sabha or being governors as well. So these things have been seen in the recent times. So this is an incorrect statement. We wish this was true, but sadly it's an incorrect statement. Second one, judicial review as a concept in the Indian legal system is limited to examining the constitutionality of legislative actions, and does not extend to executive actions. Now this is wrong, because what is judicial review? It simply means the judiciary is now going to check the constitutional validity of legislative as well as executive actions, not just one but both. So 2 is wrong. The third one, the principle of judicial independence is rooted in the idea that judges must be able to perform their duties free of influence from the legislative and executive branches as well as from the private interests. Yes, that's of course true. This is absolutely correct. The principle of this entire idea of judicial independence is foundational to the functioning of a democracy, ensuring that judges can make decisions based on the law and the constitution without undue influence from the other branches of the government or from external pressures. So yes, we need to ensure that the judges follow the constitution and also apply laws properly without any undue interference from the other branches. 3 is correct, which means how many of the statements are correct? In this case, only one statement is correct. Right answer is A. And the last question for today. With respect to the legislature of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, consider the following statements. Most of the members of the assembly are directly elected by the people, while some are nominated by the central government. And number 2, the assembly can make laws on all the matters of the state list and the concurrent list. Now here, if you take a look at the UT of Pondicherry, the first statement is correct for them, that in the UT of Pondicherry, 30 seats elected and 3 seats nominated. But this is not the case for Delhi, where all the seats are elected. And second one is also wrong. Why? Because as far as the NCT of Delhi's assembly is concerned, they are allowed to make laws on concurrent list subject, of course, subject to the restrictions imposed by center. But insofar as the state list topics are concerned, they can make laws on all state list topics except entry 1, entry 2, entry 18. That is what? That is public order, police, as well as land. So these three topics are the ones wherein the Assembly of Delhi cannot make laws, making statement 2 also incorrect. This means what? Both 1 and 2 are wrong. In this case, the right answer is D. Neither 1 nor 2 is correct. This brings us to an end of our discussion for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Till then, that's all for me. Jai Hind.